what's up? I'm Colleen and welcome to my channel. I'm just a girl who's enthusiastic about makeup and positivity, and when I say positivity, I mean bringing people up, not pushing people down. Being mean is not cool. Also, people are not mean, so be kind all the time. So hello, I have not been around for like about 3 weeks. I figured I'd pop on and talk a little bit about why I wasn't here, as well as just I always wanted to do a video about mental health in general, so I figured I would take this time and do that. First off, so sorry if you hear the loud noise. My air conditioner is on because it is 91 degrees in New York. If you don't use Fahrenheit, I think that's like 32 degrees Celsius, so it's like monstrously hot here, and then my computer decided it needs to run loud, so that's always fun. So I apologize about that. So I wanted to talk about why it wasn't on for 3 weeks. It wasn't anything like major, you know, drastic, crazy. It wasn't anything like that at all. I just needed a break. It started because I actually got sick. My sinuses, well, if you've been watching for a while, you know that I have issues with my sinuses, and they decided to act like really horrible. And because of that, I had to go to the doctor, but because everything is a symptom of the disease that shall not be named, I had to be tested for that. And it took 2 weeks to get my results, to find out that it was obviously negative because I did not have it. So once you take the test, you have to quarantine no matter what until you get your results. So that was a lot of fun. But I did actually feel really sick for about a week, but it had nothing to do with, you know, the disease that shall not be named. It was literally just my sinuses. They were out of control. They're still bothering me a little bit. I have sinus problems. It is what it is. But it made me really sad because we were supposed to be shooting because I work for a dance studio, and we were shooting outdoor recitals because obviously with everything that's going on, we could not do like a regular school year, but my boss is amazing and wanted to do some kind of recital for our beautiful dancers. So she put together this amazing thing, and I ended up missing most of it because I was sick, and I was actually really depressed about it. And when you're sick, you have a lot of time to sit and then just feel bad about yourself. So I ended up kind of like getting in this like weird slump of just like suckiness. And you know, it was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a good thing because I definitely think I needed to take a break from everything. I was getting very overwhelmed with trying to keep up with social media. There, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about my mental health and stuff in a second. But I'm full of anxiety, which I don't know if you probably can pick it up from my videos, just the way I talk and move and everything. And I say too many times. I'm working on that, but it's not gonna change. So I was getting very stressed out, like trying to keep up with making videos, trying to keep up with watching everyone's videos, because I found so many like amazing people that I enjoy watching, but there's only so much time in the day for me to like work and then do my videos and then watch other people's videos, and I was getting like stressed out that I wasn't keeping up with everything. And this is all me. This had nothing to do with anyone else. So it was actually a good thing that I ended up having to take taking the 3 weeks off that I did. But I wanted to talk about mental health in general because mental health is really, really important. I know a lot of people talk about it, but I don't feel like a lot of people talk about it. So I feel like the more you know somebody who you maybe like, or you know, watch or something, you feel like you can relate to, if they talk about, you know, their mental health struggles, then maybe if you're having some mental health struggles, you won't feel as weird talking about them either, because it is nothing to be ashamed about or embarrassed about. You know, that stigma is going away a lot, but that stigma is still very much here, that, you know, there's something wrong with you if you're depressed or anxious or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, you know, it's a part of life. It's a chemical thing. So I'm gonna quickly run down and tell you what I have. I have been diagnosed with anxiety, with OCD, which I will talk about. Actually, I'm going to link an article that I did on my website all about my OCD, because I feel like there's a very giant misconception about what it's like to have OCD, and until I actually had OCD, I had no idea how destructive it can be on your life, and it's one of the hardest things I think to have. I'll talk about that after. But I also have I think it's major moderate recurrent depression is the exact thing. Yeah, I'm like such a bundle of hot mess, but it is what it is. Like, it's a part of life. It's a part of who I am. I think it's a part of it's definitely influenced how I present myself on this channel, because I think my opening, when I talk about being positive and being nice, I am a very anxious, I'm also an empath, so I feel like a lot of emotions and I feel other people's emotions. So I want people to feel happy, because if I know what it's like to feel sad and depressed and anxious, and I don't want other people to feel like that. So I really just want to like remind people that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And you know, it takes a lot of courage sometimes to admit that there's something wrong and that you need help, but you're very brave and not weak at all if you decide to do that. It's something that's really amazing. I of course have done that throughout the years. I've gone through therapy. I'm currently on medication. I know medication can be like a hot topic sometimes. Some people feel like, you know, medication for behavioral issues is, you know, overused and this and that, but for me, being on medication has literally saved my life. So I am so thankful that I was able to find the right doctors and everything to help me through my rough times. I mean, it's nothing like major that's caused my anxiety. It runs in my family. I mean, I didn't have the easiest like life as a child. Maybe one day I'll talk about that. It wasn't anything like, I mean, I have a great family. That's nothing to do with that. We were just really poor and we had been homeless for a little while and just like a lot of things. We moved a lot, so it was interesting. I mean, I'm sure that that definitely affected it a lot, but even if that didn't happen, I would still have anxiety. I mean, so you see when I talk on my videos, my hands are constantly going, I'm moving my rings, I'm looking around. Sometimes I'm digging my hands into my nails into my hands, and it's an anxiety thing. I don't even realize I do it, but yeah. And it is what it is. Like, I'm not like a doctor or anything, so I'm probably just going on here and rambling, but I think it's like really important to talk about that type of stuff, because it is doesn't make you anything less than anyone else. You know, it's just another quirk to who you are, but it is something that is serious. You know, it's not a joke. It is something that's hard to live with, you know, because you are more anxious. Things just get me stressed out very easily. I get overwhelmed, but I definitely, like, over the years have learned how to handle it a lot better. I do a lot of self-reflection and meditation, and those are things that work for me to calm me down. I do things that I really love, which is makeup, and I really love music, so I listen to a lot of music. I think I just made my camera shake, I'm sorry. I listen to a lot of music. Music calms me down. It makes me happy, you know, helps me release my emotions I needed to do. I really like to write, so I sometimes keep a journal. I sometimes try and finish books, even though I've been really bad about that lately. But another thing I wanted to talk about was having OCD, because a lot of people, I think, just associate OCD with like, oh, I need to have my clothes organized by color, or my pencils are really organized on my desk, so I have OCD, which I mean is like a positive part of like being neat and being like an obsessive compulsive. But having OCD for me, that's not what it was like at all. My OCD was, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I literally just would have to repeat actions over and over, because if I didn't do them, I felt like something drastic and terrible was absolutely going to happen. And these actions were things like checking the locks on my porch door and my front door, checking the knobs on my stove, opening and closing certain cabinets in my kitchen, touching plugs, making sure that they were plugged in right in the kitchen and in my bedroom. I would have to adjust my sheets a certain amount of times before I could go to bed. I would have to adjust my pillow. I would have to set my alarm. I would set 3 alarms. I'd have to check them repeatedly, and there was no like rhyme or reason to it. It was literally just, if I didn't do it correctly, something bad would happen, like, you know, something terrible. And then if something like even like small happened bad the next day, like say I forgot to send an email or something, or I had a typo in my email at work, it would be because I felt that I did not do my OCD rituals properly, so they'd have to be done properly that night. And there was no like time on them. I would have to do them until I felt they were done enough. So I would spend like 45 minutes aimlessly just walking around doing all this stuff, and I would have to check my alarm until I was nauseous. And then once I was nauseous, I knew that I checked my alarm enough. And that is just not a way to live. And for a while I didn't understand what was going on, because I developed OCD when I was 29 years old. I wasn't a child. I had obsessive compulsive anxiety disorder, where I just repeated anxious thoughts and things over and over and over in my head, you know, until I got upset or nauseous, or didn't feel well or whatever, just obsessively thought about like negative things. And then it actually turned into actual obsessive compulsive disorder, which today is under control. This was about 7 years ago. I've been battling it for 7 years. Unfortunately, there's no cure for obsessive compulsive disorder, so it's probably going to be something I have to deal with for the rest of my life. But at the moment, it is very regimented and controlled. I still have to check a couple of things, but I don't have to check it until I feel sick. You know, I have a certain amount of time, and if it's not perfect, it doesn't make me upset. Like when back in the day, if it wasn't perfect, I'd have to restart. So if I had already been involved in like checking plugs for 20 minutes, I would have to stop what I was doing, regroup, and redo the whole thing, and it could take another 20 minutes. So it was really bad, and I'd have to do this before I went to bed and every time I left the house, except for the alarm clock that was only for bed. So it was hard because I didn't know what was going on, and I hadn't told people what was going on. So sometimes I would make us late leaving, but I would make sure I was the last one out of the house because I didn't want people to know what I was doing. So they would just get mad at me because they would think that I was just like running late and like, you know, you took so long to do your makeup and now you're gonna make us late for this party or whatever. And really it had nothing to do with that, but I just didn't want people to know that that's what it was. So it was really hard, and it was really one day when it finally hit me that this was serious and that I needed help. It was such a relief when I finally went to the doctor and we figured out what was going on, because I realized I thought I was losing my mind. I was pretty sure that's probably what was going on, and it was terrifying. And it was just, you know, it's really, really, really hard. My article that I wrote for my website describes this so much better. I'm not very good with words, so I'm definitely rambling and kind of going all over the place in this video, but I just thought it was really, really important because mental health is so important. And you know what? It's important for to take care of yourself and have self-care time. There's nothing selfish about self-care. If you need a me day or like a me week because you're feeling overwhelmed or you can't, you know, handle something, that's perfectly fine. You know, if it becomes like a me a lot, I, you know, would probably suggest maybe, you know, getting some help, because if it becomes where you're shutting yourself away from everyone all the time, that's not good either. So, you know, again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not telling you like if you're like a loner that you're depressed or anything like that. I'm just saying from my personal experience. But I do think it's important, and I think it's important to be open about it, because the more people that are open about it, whom you maybe like trust or like or enjoy, I think the more comfortable someone who maybe was afraid to even admit that they had something like that, maybe it'll make them more comfortable to come out and be like, you know what, I think that I am depressed, or I think I have OCD, or I think my anxiety is not just normal anxiety, because everyone gets anxious about stuff. That's totally normal. It's just how anxious you get and how your mind and body work with that anxiety that makes it where some people can handle it and some people can't. But if you can't handle it, it doesn't make you weak either. Like, I hate that stigma, you know, like, oh, well, you're just pathetic or whatever. No, it takes a lot of strength to admit that like you need help. And you know, anyone who does that is really, really brave, and you guys are totally awesome. But I don't know, I feel like this video is just really rambling, and I apologize. But I really did just want to come on and just talk about that. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. My wording on this is not great. I might write another article in general about about anxiety and depression on my website. I might link that. But if you're interested about what it's like to have OCD, at least from my experience, definitely check out my website below. I know I just totally pimped that out, but you know, I thought it was really important to write that because I don't think it's something that's spoken about a lot. I don't know a lot of people who have OCD like that. It's just really crazy, and it really can mess up a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. You know, I try and be positive. I'm not toxic. I don't like toxic positivity, because you can't just be like, don't be depressed, think about happy things and you'll be fine. That is no. You know, and I love to send, like, I say like good vibes and stuff at the end of the video, because we are energy, and the higher your vibration, the happier you are. But I'm just not going to tell somebody like, oh, here's some good vibes, feel the good vibes and you'll feel better. Like, I know very much that it is not exactly how it works. So I don't want anyone to confuse my opening and closing with toxic positivity, because I do not appreciate, like, I don't like that at all, especially somebody who has anxiety and stuff. I know that's not how that works, but I don't like to be negative either. Like, what's the point of being negative and mean? Negative and mean sucks, you know? Like, who cares? That energy is negative, and mean energy is terrible, and it brings you down, and you don't want that around you. That's why I try and be positive. Overall, I think I'm a pretty happy person. I don't think I'm currently depressed. I don't know. I think I'm okay. I think so. But you know, I want to, my like biggest dream in life would be if I could like have a, I think I said like 45 million times in this video, would be if I could have a foundation where we could have like 24/7 call centers where people could call if they're just feeling depressed or alone or anything. They could call our call centers and talk to somebody, and they could remind them that they are amazing. And I'd eventually like to open up shelters that are free of charge all over the place, that if you're, you know, need to leave your situation, or maybe you were kicked out of your home, you don't have to live on the street. You can come to our shelter and we'll take care of you, and we'll have counselors there. And that's just like my biggest dream. Like, that's something I'd want to do. I just want to make people feel good about themselves. Like, I know that's kind of sounds stupid, but that's my like biggest dream in life. I think that that's my life purpose, is to make sure people are loved and feel loved, if that makes any sense. Well, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm doing the thing where I touch my hair again, and the next video will be back to normal, which will just be makeup or something, or BoxyCharm unboxing, but we'll be back to a regular normal video. So anyway, if you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you really like this video, please feel free to subscribe. If you want to do neither one of those things, that is totally fine. I get it. Thank you for stopping by and sharing this minute with me. I really appreciate it. I will still send you happy thoughts and positive vibes your way just for stopping by. As always, I will list everything that I'm wearing on my face, as well as my Twitter and Instagram handles, in case you want to follow me there. I post pictures of looks that I do not film, as well as pictures of my pets, and I think they are adorable. But of course, we are all biased when it comes to our fur babies, but oh well. So anyway, from one makeup lover to another, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and remember, be you, do you, love you. Bye!